65-year legacy company, 85,000 tons a year capacity, exporting to 55 countries and running 5 foundries over India.
We have 11 lines, and out of 11, 6 are high pressure lines. 2003 is when the actual boom in India was happening. What we were making 25 years ago and what we are making today is completely different. You can call it nearshoring, you can call it protectionism. Every country is now fending for itself. People need to be deep into the product line, whatever they're looking at. I mean, that's the only advice I give. I give 2 advice if someone asks me.
Manufacturing for sure.
Manufacturing for sure. Today, if I look at 100% manufacturing.
Coming from very humble beginnings to today a national powerhouse, Plasma Induction dispatches 1 furnace for every single working day. That means 300 plus installations per year, 1650 installations to date, and 5 kgs all the way ranging to 10 tons in capacity. So here's 3 reasons why foundries trust them. Because they are highly reliable and efficient, powered by IGBT latest technology. They are very service oriented, and at the end of the day, they offer outstanding value for money. In fact, their best salespeople are their customers. Very soon, they will also be launching their IoT-enabled smart line of furnaces, allowing for full control and maintenance anywhere, anytime, digitally. If you're exploring lost form technology, don't miss this plasma group company called Castomec. Castomec can deliver complete lost form casting solutions and specializes in turnkey LFC setups. Today, they have 6 LFC plants running and many more on the way. So reach out to Castomec Technology and get started on your LFC journey today. You can connect directly with Mr. Ketan Vavia to the number in the description or head over to plasmainduction.com. And now, let's get back to the episode. So it's a very well-known company. Let me just give you some metrics. 65-year legacy company, 85,000 tons a year capacity, exporting to 55 countries and running 5 foundries over India. Right? And let me just welcome Mr. Navneet Agarwal.
Welcome.
Of course, everybody knows him because he was our last year's IF president. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us in Chennai. We have a lot to cover today. There's a very long, extensive script. And if you know Mr. Navneet Agarwal from any of his IF speeches, he really has a lot of information that he gives out, and his speeches are very well. Some of them should have been recorded. So this one we're going to be starting here, and let's just start. Yeah. So a lot of people know about RB Agarwal and company today, right? The foundries you're running because you're very active on social media, but for the viewers, like the story that you just told me about your ancestors moving across the border, I think that's something we should start with, and let's get there.
Yeah, I think, so just to give a brief on the history of the company. So the company is RB Agarwal and Company. And like I told you, I mean, the letters R stands as an initial for my grandfather. B stands for initial of my uncle. Our family was based in Burma. It was called Burma that time. Now It's Myanmar. And when the military took over, we had to kind of leave overnight. So my uncle traveled from Burma, set up a base in Calcutta, and that's where our journey of RB Agarwal began. So RB Agarwal is a flagship company for our entire family. And we are celebrating 66 years this year. So he came to India, and we established the trading company where we were trading into multiple commodities.
Right.
And most of it was for the export market. I mean, a lot of it was actually exported to Myanmar, a lot of it was exported to Africa, various countries, wherever the opportunities were. And those days, export was not easy. So the information was not available. So it was not an easy thing, but then I think it's the entrepreneurship of our, elders.
Correct.
And their initiative, which they would be able to do. And then post that, when oil was discovered in the Middle East in early 70s, that's when our first foray into castings came in.
Okay.
So we basically started to export casting again as a traded product.
Correct.
To the Middle East. A lot of it was because they were building Middle East. They wanted to build Middle East overnight. They had got a huge amount of wealth from the ground, which is black gold, oil. And they had so much of money, they said, no, we want to build whatever is possible. And that's when that was an opportunity which, again, my father, my uncle, they took over. And that's where our journey started.
Correct.
From there on, we have gone from being a pure trader to a manufacturer exporter. And I think there's been no looking back from there on.
Of
So
course.
in this entire 65 years of journey, we have been with the foundry trade for almost more than 5 decades now. So from
Correct.
early 70s to almost
Correct.
2025 today. And we have gone through a lot. We have seen the world change. We have seen the product change. My journey has been almost 30 years now. I've completed 30 years in the industry
Right.
this year. So again, a lot of changes we have seen. Our products have changed. Our
Correct.
products have evolved. Our manufacturing processes have evolved. So that's where the history comes in.
Correct.
But a lot of credit goes to my uncle, who's no more with us, and he's the one who started this company. And again, my father took it forward. He's been involved in the company from early 70s.
Right.
So he's also completed more than 55 years in the industry now. So that's the legacy
There's a very
we have.
interesting statistic with legacy businesses, family-run businesses. There's a 50% chance that the next generation will run it into the ground. So clearly, you all are defying the statistics, and hopefully this will continue. And I'm sure
Hoping
it will.
so.
Yeah. So you joined very, very early. I think your second day after engineering, you couldn't wait to jump into the foundry.
Yes.
So what was that experience like, and why foundry? Like, you probably had a lot of options at that time.
Yeah, so just to, let everyone know. So I graduated out of IIT Bombay.
Okay.
I did my BTech there
Right.
in mechanical engineering. And I think for us, this is mid-90s I'm talking about, 94, 95.
Right.
I mean, that time the world again was different. And you're right, there were a lot of opportunities. Most of my classmates either went to the US to do an MS.
Right.
And some of them stayed back in India to join various companies. I had an offer from L&T, which was a very, very high growth company next to Powai, where I was stationed.
Correct.
So I had an opportunity there, but fortunately, I did not join.
Right.
The reason I say fortunately, because I think, again, it's in hindsight. I could see the business growing. It was of interest to me, especially the casting was of interest to me.
Correct.
And I think I think it was a good decision.
Yeah,
which I took.
I certainly it looks like it.
Yep.
Because you all guys are leading the foundries in India with the metrics that you all have.
Yes.
So you join the foundry, right? You go back to Calcutta, I believe, from Mumbai.
Yes.
And you told me you started your warehouse was your first project that you did, because you all were exporting a lot at that time.
Yes.
So what was those first initial years like?
So when I went back, because we were joint family, so a lot of the decision is not what you do, but what you're told to do.
Correct.
And what I was told to do is that we need to build a central warehouse. And so my career actually started with building a central warehouse, which we currently also use.
Right.
So we had multiple foundries at that point also. And we wanted to bring everything in a central location so that we can finish and export out of one location rather than exporting out of multiple locations.
Correct.
So my job was to build that central warehouse, which took almost like 1.5 years or so. So although I was in the foundry industry, the first 1.5 years were more about building the warehouse, and I also was managing the warehouse. So my job was also to look at kind of the supply chain for the first 3, 4, 5 years. And looking at, okay, how the POs are coming in, and then how the POs are processed, and we get the products into the warehouse, and then process it, finish it, paint it, machine it, package it, and ship it.
So they took advantage of a youngster to give them the most stressful job.
Probably.
That's completely like adults would. Anyway, so then about, I think, couple of years later, you jumped now to Chennai.
Yes. So post that, I went for my MBA to the US for a couple of years, along with my wife and my child.
Okay.
So that was a different experience.
So you were married while you were doing
Yes,
MBA.
yes.
Okay,
yes.
this is.
I was married very young. I was married almost after a year after graduation.
Right.
And so I went with my wife and my small kid to the US to do an MBA. And again, post MBA, again, it was almost India 2003 is when the actual boom in India was happening.
Correct.
If you see the boom in the commodities, the boom in the infrastructure, that's when it was happening. I mean, I still remember, the first major road which was renovated was the Mumbai-Pune highway. And this is the time when the Golden Quadrilateral was being created.
Correct.
So there was a big opportunity there. And I think I was clear that, I have to go back to India and look at and capitalize on that opportunity. Again, so post graduation, post my masters, I came back.
Right.
And again, came back here, and that's when we decided to set up a factory. And fortunate enough, we decided on Chennai.
Yeah. So that process of choosing Chennai also, there was a lot to it, because I think you mentioned at one of your speeches you were shortlisting Pune.
Yes.
And you were zeroing in on Pune, and then suddenly Chennai comes into the equation, and you move your entire foundry here. So what was that process like?
So the reason we wanted to set up a foundry outside Calcutta was to get into the OEM side, to get into the industrial side. So we wanted to get into, we were always more on access covers, manhole covers kind of a product line. And we were a large family.
This was like a de-risking initiative?
It was a de-risking initiative. Because again, we were quite deep into that product line. So we wanted to de-risk that, let's get into the other opportunities. Again, automotive, trucking, everything was an upswing at that point of time.
Right.
So that was the whole concept, that let's look at, getting into that product line. And Calcutta was not the right location for it. Ideally, if we would have wanted to be in Calcutta, but it was not the right location.
For that industry.
For that industry. We were looking at setting up a mechanized foundry.
Correct.
And unfortunately, at that point of time, Bengal was not offering that skill.
Right.
So if I have to import every skill, that's not possible.
That's a very important point, because today when people build foundries, they don't build them with the intention of, what does the foundry need? Where does the foundry need to be?
Yes.
They look at it as a point of convenience as to where they want to live. So I think that's a very smart step you guys took.
I think we always believe in the cluster effect.
Correct.
And I think for this, the product we were looking at, Pune, Western region was a big cluster.
Correct.
Pune and Kolkata and always big clusters.
Correct.
That was the whole reason that we wanted to, and I was open to move. I was always open to move.
And keep in mind, guys, you spoke no language, not a word of Tamil.
No.
Right?
No,
Even today, I think.
No, very less. Very less. I understand some, but I can't speak.
Right. So that's 19 years living in Tamil Nadu, and you can imagine how it was back then. So it was a really big leap at that time.
It was a big leap, yes.
Right.
So I think, just to give in perspective, I looked at Pune, and we almost finalized the land in Pune, and then the Enron crisis happened. And this being a power-intensive facility, it would be suicide to get to a position where there is no power available. Correct. And I want to set up a factory for that. So
correct.
Pune unfortunately went off in a night. And then I was again scouting for location, and then we found Chennai, because again, Chennai, Coimbatore are also big clusters.
Correct.
So that's when we zeroed in on cluster, and I think I need to thank God that we were able to come here, set up the factory. I set up the factory in almost a year, and 2006 onwards, I've been staying here. I've been living here.
So today you have 4 foundries running in Calcutta, and you're still living in Chennai.
Yes.
So you probably must really love it here.
I do. I think it's also a choice about the family. So my kids have grown up in Chennai, so they definitely call Chennai home.
Do they like talk in in Tamil?
Oh yes. They do. My son can speak fluent Tamil.
So you would probably have to keep your translator on at all times. Now with AI translators, you know what they're saying.
I do. I think over time, it's human psychology.
Right.
As human beings, we are all adapt to multiple languages. We are a very multilingual, actually. We are all multilingual.
Correct.
And I think that's helped when you start hearing a language often, you start to adopt to it.
And even the mannerisms and body language really play a part.
It does.
Right.
And colloquial language, any language you take in India, the spoken language has a lot of English words, a lot of Hindi words also now. So a lot of time when someone is speaking, you actually can get the word, even if you are first time visitor. So the intent is visible. Correct. You can understand the intent more or less.
Correct.
And a lot of the words give you the meaning on a macro level.
Correct.
And I think that's helped me.
Right. We struggled today to get our Uber from the airport.
Yes.
There was 2 sentences, and then there was E11. So I figured, okay, he wants us to come to pillar number E11. That's all. That was enough. So I get what you mean. Okay. So let's move on to your product range, because your guys are very focused with what you do with your product range, and I think you've just acquired this mastery with one sort of product range, and now you've diversified into everything around that niche.
Yes.
So tell us about your main product that RBAC Agarwal does.
So we have 2 product ranges, if I categorize. The major one, which we have been doing for a long time, is now we call it access covers.
Right.
And the reason, it was always called manhole covers at one point of time. So for ease of explanation, I always tell someone asks me, I said, yes, I make manhole covers.
Right.
But internally and externally, we try to classify that as access covers for the simple reason because the products that we do provide access. So we also say that we make products for the infrastructure, because if you look at most of our products go on roads, go on bridges,
Right.
go on public infrastructure. So that's why it's an infrastructure product. It goes on airports, it goes on railway station, it goes on ports. I mean, you name it, it's there. I mean,
Right.
residential buildings, industrial buildings, they are all everywhere. So the whole purpose is that the product does two things. One is it provides access to any infrastructure. Today, modern cities in the last 25 years have evolved where most of the infrastructure is now going below the ground, public infrastructure.
Okay.
So you look at the traditional ones are sewerage systems.
Right.
They were always below the ground. And that's where the manhole completely started, because the man would go into the hole. That's why it's called a manhole.
Correct.
Right? Then came the drainage systems. Then came the storm drains. When you have excess water, rain, the water needs to be evacuated.
Correct.
Then you had a lot of telecom, the whole telecom revolution, which started with wired revolution, then it was the optic fiber revolution. All of it required laying cables below the ground. And when you put anything below the ground, you need access to it, whether
Correct.
it's the junction box, whether it's the jointing cables, whether
Okay.
it is a network being formed, you need access to it.
So you'll make the covers even for those?
Everything.
Okay. So it's not
Anything
only
which needs an
sewage.
access.
Because I think when people say manhole covers, they typically associate with sewage drains and
Yes,
water drainage.
that's the
Right.
oldest and the most traditional usage.
Correct.
But today we are not restricted to that. Probably if I look at that application, it's probably less than 15 to 18% of our product range.
Okay. So
It's the other access which has gained momentum. So you look at sewerage, you look at drainage, you look at telecom, you look at electrical lines. If you see, most of the electrical lines are below the ground now. And if you have anything going below the ground, you need access to it.
Correct.
There are so many gas lines, there are drinking water line, potable water line. I mean, there's so much of infrastructure
That's
is
a really
going
nice
below.
way to think of it, because you look at the adoption of CNG today in household,
Yes,
right? So obviously access would be needed.
yes.
So that's a really nice perspective.
So you look at it from this perspective that anything you want to create below the ground, you need to create a network. It's like a branching. If you have a tree and a branch, so for everything you need to have access to clean it or to maintain it. Then you need access to divert. If you want to put a valve, for example, you want to put a pump, you need access to operate it. You need metering. Everything is nothing comes free today.
Correct.
Right? So everything has to be metered.
Correct.
So you need to put meters for that. So everything which goes below needs to have something to get access to it. And that's why we call it access covers. Traffic signals, you see traffic lights everywhere. Traffic management is a huge thing for urban cities worldwide. Any traffic signaling needs a lot of signaling equipment. That needs to be protected. That needs to be accessed. We have products for that. We now see product requirement for like big, large transformers, electrical transformers. Nobody wants to have the transformers over the ground.
Okay.
All the poles are coming down, especially, I mean, outside India and India also we see that happening now. That the transformers are now going below the ground and they need access where a crane or this thing can pick it up for maintenance. So they need large access products. So it's there everywhere.
Right.
So everything is part of the access cover business.
Right.
So that's why we call it access covers now.
Yeah. So it encapsulates the entire sort of array of products. That
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So moving on to a little more Foundry terms. You mentioned that you all were one of the first movers in the industry to try machine molding for these products.
Yes.
Right. So how long ago was that, and what was that process like?
So we started a machine molding in Chennai, 2006, and we were doing some products.
As soon as you came here.
As soon as we came. As soon as we started the foundry in Chennai.
Correct.
And at that point, nobody in industry was doing access covers on machine molding. We were the first ones. In fact, it was a risk because access covers, even today, if you look at the entire pecking order in terms of pricing for the castings, it's probably among the lower side. And maybe our products sell on weight, and our products sell on very low price in terms of weight also.
Correct.
So we are very price sensitive. Our products are extremely price sensitive.
Correct.
And we compete with the likes of China, like most of the other things. So we also have a very, very small play we can have with pricing with our customers. So we have to be very, very wary of our cost. And for that reason, machine molding at that point of time, and I'm talking maybe 15, 16 years ago, 18 years ago, at that point of time was perceived it's a high cost because the workers are paid more than say a hand molding worker.
Correct.
The cost of electricity in India has always been high. I mean,
Correct.
it's traditionally been a high cost commodity in India.
Right.
So if we put that in place, the cost of production goes up.
Of course, the cost of finance.
Cost
which is
of
almost
finance goes
I
up.
think
Yes,
10%.
it's a high capex. Yes,
Of
yes,
course,
100% right. It's
right.
and India again finance cost is high.
Highest, yeah.
Yes, and I'm talking 18, 19 years ago when finance cost was even higher.
Correct.
So if you're borrowing at 10, 12% and you're putting a capex of say 10 crore,
right.
I mean, it's a huge number. The finance cost itself was huge. So
Correct.
if you add everything up, the perception was that you cannot make a access cover then sell that access cover because the customer is not going to pay you more.
Correct.
Customer will pay you the same amount. We tried that and I think it was successful for us. I mean, there's been no looking back after that. I mean, again, it was a risk. We took that risk and I think it's paid very well for us.
So today, how many machines are you running? How many machine lines are you running?
All inclusive, I'm running around 11 machines now.
So I can't even count them on one hand.
Yes, we have 11 lines and out of 11, 6 are high pressure lines and 5 are the traditional Jolt squeeze lines.
Right. What do you think the future is of Jolt squeeze lines today? Like if somebody is looking for a new Jolt squeeze line, what would you say to them? Should they like stretch a little bit and go for a high pressure line or?
So my thought process, at least for my product, I can talk about, and I think it applies to a lot of other product lines. If I look at the demand perspective,
right?
Demand, either you have demand for very high volume products, quantities, or you have also demand for very, very low volume products. Now, to meet high volume product lines, high pressure is the only solution. It gives you consistency, repeatability, weight control, better efficiency. So automatically your costs are lower. But if you want to make small volume production, flexibility, that I think the Jolt squeeze are here to stay. It's already reducing, it'll reduce, but it'll never go off. I don't think I will ever go off Jolt squeeze because today we are catering to our customers. When a customer says, okay, I need one piece of this. Now for a foundry to make one piece is the biggest challenge and the biggest horror for the production side.
Of course.
They don't want to make that one piece or even 10 piece.
Right.
But we have to cater to our customer making that one piece because he needs the entire package.
Correct.
And we believe in selling the entire package. So I have to give that one piece and I have to give that 1 million piece.
You mentioned your flexibility is a couple of grams to 700 kgs, I think.
Yes, we do. We have dual, if I graph it up, x-axis, y-axis, x-axis being the weight, I think we are going from almost like 20 grams to maybe 700 kilos.
20
piece.
grams?
Yes.
How do you even find that casting in the mold? Yeah.
And in terms of technology, again, we go from the age-old floor molding using cupola to vertical high pressure lines.
Correct.
And induction melt with all the automation possible.
I think at the end of the day, what I can gather from you is you know your business very well. You know where you should use a cupola, you know where you should use an induction furnace, where a high pressure line, where a Jolt squeeze line. And that's how 17,000 products, I think, is what you're making today.
We have almost 17,000 active products today.
I mean, the only way to do that is by knowing the business completely.
I think we do.
Right.
But I think, again, when I say this, I don't think we still have a long way to go.
Correct.
I mean, every business is evolving. Every product line is evolving. And if we don't understand the evolution and don't adopt to the evolution, we will be left behind.
Correct.
The industry overall is going through a massive change. We as a company are also going through a massive change.
Right.
So I think it's important. So we know what we have done, but we also have to understand what to do.
Correct.
And we have to keep moving.
Just a small little add-on to that. You've been in business now for 30 years. Do you think technology was changing as rapidly 30 years ago as it is today?
I think technology, so I always bucket it in two parts. One is technology in India or developing countries like India. and technology in matured countries like Western Europe or US. I think everyone has gone through this, that the learning curve or the technology curve. They have gone through in an elongated cycle. So they have run the Jolt squeeze machine, for example, for a longer period of time than what India has done.
Correct.
Or China has done. So like with every technology, like we jump from almost 3G to 5G kind of jump in telecom, I think the same thing is applicable to the foundry. We have used all kind of tech. India has gone through all kind of technology, but the jump has been much faster.
Right.
So if I look at the industry today, I don't think anybody talks about other than high pressure lines.
Correct.
So whereas till 15 years ago, nobody talked of high pressure. So to have that change, massive change in 15 years, just shows that we are adopting technology very fast.
Very quickly, right.
Very, very fast.
Is that a cultural advantage to us?
I think it's a response to the environment, because the world is changing. India has a huge opportunity, both internally and externally.
Correct.
And I think if we don't embrace technology, again, I say, we get left behind. So it's like a push and pull together. Correct. There's a push coming from the demand side, from the customer side.
Right.
And there's also a push. Once you start embracing technology, you love it and you want to go more forward. So there's a pull coming in for that.
Right.
And I think that's the reason you see more rapid deployment of technology. I mean, robotics, any kind of automation. I think India is catching up very fast.
Right.
I mean, it's much faster than what you see in Western countries like Germany or France or US. I mean, there was a slow curve. It was a rapid, it was like a constant but slow curve. We have actually gone through like an exponential curve in terms of adaptability of technology. And I think that's a big difference.
Right.
So we are, and I think as Indians, we also can adopt much faster. We are always, as a country, we are very flexible and we are very adaptive. So we adopted very fast, and that's the reason we are able to do it.
Right. Talk a little bit about concrete versus iron covers, because that is something that your business is not your competition is not other foundries, but concrete, the cement industry.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's true mostly for the Indian market, the context of the Indian market, because, and you're right, I think our competition today, when I look at the domestic market, is more to displace the concrete which are there on the roads rather than the other foundries.
Right.
So I'll just maybe take a step back when I want to talk about it. So if I look at the foundry or the access cover industry in India, India has been using manhole covers, access covers for a long time. I mean, since the municipalities were formed, since the sewerage systems were formed, they have been using it. Initially, they were all iron. Even today, if you go to cities like Calcutta or Mumbai or Delhi, the older side of Delhi, you will see the old covers existing. Now, which is the right thing, because if I look at iron, it provides a lot of advantage. One is it lasts like a lifetime, more than a lifetime. I mean, we know products worldwide where they have lasted more than 75 years and still going strong.
Right.
They have not been removed from the system.
Or stolen.
That's
Second, a big threat.
Yeah, I agree. Second thing is iron has a natural tendency of rust protection. Although it rusts, which people don't like, and a lot of people have a conception that once it starts to rust, it will just get destroyed, which is not the fact.
Correct.
I mean, and these are not like very, very thin sections where the surface itself is like more than the thickness itself. Once it rusts, it protects itself. That's why they are able to last so long. Third thing is that traditionally they were put on sewage systems where you generate a lot of gas, a lot of like ammonia and sulfides and all, which are highly corrosive. Once they come in contact with any other material, they would corrode it very fast. Iron stays for a long time. Again, it forms a rust. It could form a oxidation rust. It could form a sulfide attached to it, but it just controls the entire thing. So it doesn't go off. And the fourth thing is it's put on the traffic, where gray iron, which used to be the traditional material, provides a lot of dampening. Again, it's a natural tendency of grey iron to be dampening, has a dampening quality.
Right.
So for that reason, they were the natural material of choice.
So someone had done their homework a long time back.
Yes, someone did a good amount of engineering, did a lot of experimentation, and then decided that this is what it should be. Unfortunately, what has happened is that in India, a lot of theft happened. I mean, and when theft happened, the municipalities, they want a solution. And someone introduced that, okay, why don't you put something which cannot be stolen or has no resale value? So that's when the advent of concrete manhole covers came in the system. And they were all okay.
Right.
Now, the problem with concrete, if it's well designed, well cured, well mixed concrete with the right grade, it works well. I mean, we have concrete everywhere in construction. Nothing falls out, nothing goes wrong. So it's not the concrete itself. The problem is not the concrete. The problem is that over time, because they were always treated as a product which nobody cares about, the quality of concrete has come down. Also, what happens is that the vehicular traffic, if you look at, vehicular traffic has changed. They were small cars. We started all with Maruti 800. Right. Now there are huge SUVs and huge trucks running. Trucks used to be maybe 25 tonner at one point of time. Now we have 40 tonners, 50 tonners. The wheel loads have gone up. The requirement of the road itself has changed. Right.
Correct.
Now concrete doesn't work. Again, I don't blame any of the manufacturers.
Correct.
It's just the nature. Right. There is a limitation to everything. So now we always tell, whenever we are selling, and we are trying to sell in the Indian market, we have been successful to some extent, but a long way to go. So we always try to educate that, no, I mean, if you look at the LTV, which is the lifetime value, today, ductile iron, grey iron products provide the highest lifetime value of usage because they last a long time. Yes, it costs more today.
Right.
So the initial cost is high, but the overall, you look at the OPEX, look at the maintenance side, they are extremely low.
Right.
And they last.
And we were comparing that situation where someone would have bought those covers 75 years back.
Yes.
What did it cost them every year if you amortize it over that?
Yes, I would say it's almost peanuts.
Correct.
It's not going to cost them anything.
Correct.
There was also a period when a lot of FRPs came in. Bombay, again, a classic example where they started putting FRPs especially on the sidewalks. And unfortunately, it was in one of the Bombay floods. FRP is very light.
Okay.
Again, right. So it does the work, but it's too light. So when the flood happened and the water gives an upward pressure, the FRP covers came off, floated out.
Okay.
And there were a lot of accidents which are reported, which is in the media, where some kid fell down,
correct,
lost his life. Again, this is something which you don't want to happen.
Right.
So again, those things, again, I think now the mandate is slowly changing where we see a lot more people are receptive, whether it's the government department side or the private side. They want to come back to the traditional, which is more iron-oriented product. And for theft, which was the original reason for changing, products are available. We do a lot of anti-theft products. We do a lot of what we call vandal-proof products.
Correct.
They cannot be tampered with. They cannot be taken off. We provide a lot of solutions to the armed forces worldwide where if they are building a barrack, for example, they want to have a secured system. So we provide solutions where nobody can open it. It has special keys or special ways to open it. All that is possible. I mean, the product itself has evolved. I was telling you about the evolution. The product itself, what we were making 25 years ago and what we are making today is completely different. It's not at all the same. I mean, we have done so much of engineering now.
Amazing. So I think future is bright for RBAC Agarwal.
I hope so. Right? I hope so.
Yeah, I think definitely sounds like that because of the pushback to iron and everything. And of course, it's a superior product. I personally can tell you that in our society we had a lot of concrete covers, and all those were replaced to iron, and they've been running now for the last 10-15 years. I've not seen them changing ever since.
So I'll just add on to what you mentioned. So a lot of requirements are now coming from the point of OSHAs, for example. Health and safety.
Okay.
Now, health and safety now, for example, in France, in Germany, a lot of countries now, they have a mandate that you cannot lift, nobody can lift more than so many kilos of weight. That's the reason you see in airlines, your baggage is restricted now. to so many kilos.
Correct.
One of the reasons for restriction is that they don't want someone to lift more than so many kilos, that'll hurt their spine in the long run. Right. Same thing is applicable here. So for that, a lot of new products have come up. So we have a self-opening product where you actually can take off or open a 50-kilo cover with a single finger. That's where the mechanisms have come in. So a lot of changes have come. We make products which are completely gas-tight, watertight. So you put it on the ground, not a single drop of gas or water can leak in, not a single amount of gas or water can come out from the bottom. We are making products where they provide pressure relief systems. So like in floods, I'm mentioning about floods. So the entire system is flooded up. And what happens is when you have those openings for where the access covers are, the entire pressure will come up and they will dislodge the cover. So again, the whole purpose of the cover goes off because now you are unable to see the ground and the cover is off, an accident can happen. We now have systems where we can do a pressure relief. A manhole cover, access cover with a pressure relief system where you can it goes off with a certain pressure, the pressure gets relieved, comes back down on. Those products are also available.
So it's taken its own branch of engineering now.
It is 100% engineered product. I mean, a lot of people have a misconception that access covers are like just pour it and it's there. No, I mean we are doing exactly the same what other products are used. Maybe, okay, it will be wrong on me to say that exactly the same, but we are very close to it.
Right.
I mean, our tolerances are now running at 0.1, 0.2 millimeters. I mean, definitely we are not in the micron level, but we are there in 0.1, 0.2 millimeter level. So
it's all adapting as per the usage of the consumer.
Adaptable, and the products have changed. Nobody wants to pay more but get the full solution. You have to adopt to it.
So, of course, there are some very big topics looming over our head, which I heard you overheard you talking on the phone. We are largely in the export business.
Yes.
There's a lot of controversy going on with the export business. So without me taking the word, you know what we are getting at. Why don't we get into the topic?
Yeah, I think it's a big topic. And unfortunately, none of us have the answer to it. All we can do is react and try to adopt.
Correct.
So I think the biggest challenge we have today is from two sides. I mean, one is Europe and one is US.
Correct.
And both are large markets, the largest markets, I would say. So for our product line, there is a anti-dumping case being initiated by the European Union, which has been going on for almost 6 months now.
Okay.
And we hope to get some finalization by end of the month, maybe October or so.
Right.
And again, from the US, we all know the tariff. I think every kid in the world now knows the word tariff.
Right.
So again, there is a 50% tariff.
The big T word, right?
Yes, big T word. 50% tariff on our products as well.
Right.
So again, that's something which is a big challenge because we cannot afford to sell products at this kind of tariff or this kind of duties, whatever comes in.
What do you think the outcome is going to be? Like, will US buyers just start producing in-house, or will they actually look for different alternative countries to source from?
I think both the things will happen. I think three things will happen. One is the domestic will probably increase capacity, get more market share. Although for our product line, I'm not very confident because they are already running at very high capacity.
Right.
And to bring in more capacity takes a year and a half, 2 years, which is possible. Again, I would not say they do not do, they may do. But second is they might look at other options, other countries like Vietnam or other countries, which again is not an easy option. I mean, it takes a long time to develop a product.
Develop a supply chain especially.
Right. Yes, it takes a long time. So it's not an easy option. And the third option is that hopefully we are all hoping that the deal will be struck.
Right.
So the India and US will have a deal going on, and we are counting on the option 3.
Right.
If suppose it remains, again, risk, and our job is to always understand the risk and try to look at
which is your family's solutions. Main expansion point.
Yes, yeah. We have always looked at risk and try to mitigate the risk in multiple ways. I think for us, it's early days to say. So we are still hoping that a deal will be done and the whole thing will settle down, especially with the US. And we know neither we need to do anything additional nor they need to do anything any different than what they are doing.
Correct.
One thing is certain that the entire product range or the different products that we are currently doing, that will undergo a change. There will be some products which they will not be able to afford to bring in at this, whatever the tariff comes to. And there will be some product which the market will adjust. So again, we are unable to predict that how it is. We have some small idea, but till it is not done, it's not done. We do not know.
Correct.
So again, that's something which we are kind of, preparing ourselves. That okay, these are the product lines which will stay. These are the product lines which will go off. How do we, cater to our internal production to take care of that? Other than that, to move, I know, not in our industry, but I know a lot of other industries. I know gems and jewelry and other industries where people are looking at various options. A lot of people are looking at going outside India in various other locations.
You mean
like producing there or doing a value add there.
Correct.
Apparel guys, I've heard from who have, a lot of friends are there. A lot of them are now moving some production, or the customers are moving production to Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or other location where apparel is big. So again, a lot of changes are coming in. How will the foundry industry, how will the access cover industry react to? We are yet to see.
Correct.
But there will be a change.
What is your exposure to the US right now?
We are around between 30 to 35% of our business is US.
So it's significant, but not life-threatening.
It is, if I look at the overall tonnage-wise, it's a big tonnage.
Okay.
Because as you mentioned, 85,000 tons, if you multiply 30%, it's a big tonnage, yes.
Yeah.
So it's a big exposure for us. And again, a lot of our customers have been with us for a long, long time.
Right.
Which has also been our strength. So again, they are relying on us and we are relying on them.
Correct.
So it's a mutual benefit relationship. So again, we are talking to them right now. We are trying to understand what their thought process is. Where do they think the markets is heading? At 25% tariff, at 15% tariff, at 40% tariff. I think all these are like, when you create a pivot table in Excel,
right?
That's exactly what we are doing in real life now.
Correct.
As to what is that number, magic number below which
it's like at a casino, the wheel
it's like
is
a
spinning.
casino, yes. And you're playing a roulette where you don't know what the number is.
You don't know where it's going to.
Yeah, you can only put your chips to where you think the number is.
I think it's exactly like a casino because it's not in your control.
Not in my control. Yes, it's a big thing happening. But I think one thing is certain. If I look at this is going to be here. The nearshoring, you can call it nearshoring, you can call it protectionism. Every country is now fending for itself. And they're doing so rightly in their own interest.
Right.
We as exposed to the export market, I think we have to redo a lot of thinking in terms of our exposure to various markets, our exposure to various product lines, our exposure to look at other new countries, domestic. Again, India is a big country. A lot of things happening here. Maybe that is an option we have to look at much more seriously than what we are doing. So there's a lot of change coming in.
Right.
I think the next 2-3 years is going to be a definitive change in the entire, especially exporting side of the industry.
Correct.
And it's going to continue. Every country is going to fend someone else providing production to that country. Right. So we have to be ready for that change.
Right. So since we're on the point of macro trends, let us just talk about another big C word, right? So T word, C word, we have CBAM coming up. So you're in the export market, you're already very conscious about sustainability. You've talked about it a lot of times. So give us some initiatives that you're incorporating in your own foundries.
So I think sustainability has become big in the last 5 years. I think pre-5 years, it was a luxury. In the last 5 years, it's partly become a mandate. So CBAM, as you rightly mentioned, if I have to export to Europe, I have to declare my carbon footprint. And based on my carbon footprint, they will put a tax to it. So that means the landed cost of the product goes up. And whoever has a lower carbon footprint, their product will be much more competitive in the market. So it's here. It's still not applicable on casting, but it's a matter of time. In fact, it's a blessing in disguise that we have some time to prepare and we should not lose that time. So as a company, we took a call almost 5-6 years ago to embrace sustainability in multiple forms. So today, I think in our journey, we have definitely embraced it in terms of renewable power. We today have a lot of windmills under our company. We have invested into a huge multiple solar parks.
Like real windmills?
Real windmills,
Just
yes.
put up a farm?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I don't have a farm, but I have multiple windmills.
Where are they located?
Most of them are in Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
Near Madurai and all.
Right.
So again, a lot of that energy which is generated there, we
Sold
use
to the
it
grid.
captive. Yeah, give it through the grid, but we consume it captively.
Right.
We invested a huge amount of money into solar parks. So today I have more than almost 7.5, 8 megawatts of solar in the company for my own captive consumption. We are now buying a lot of power generated through renewables. So today, if I look at the overall group, I'm probably almost 45% of my electric consumption is coming from renewables.
So you're above India's target.
I am already above, and this does not count what the grid supplies to me. So grid already also has a component of renewable.
Green energy which is coming to you.
Yes, so that I'm not, without counting that, we are already at that.
So your CBAM score is going to be very impressive.
We need to do EPD,
right.
Which is again to calculate the carbon footprint. So our EPD today is, I would say, one of the lowest, at least in our product line.
Correct.
And but we don't stop there. Sustainability, when you ask about, we don't stop there. We are looking at internally wastage, reducing water wastage. How can we recirculate water? We work with the water industry.
Right.
So I think it's our responsibility to also take care of the resource, right? So we do a lot of water recirculation, water preservation, power preservation, waste. Waste to wealth. Again, we are a store starter there, but we are trying to get that, use whatever waste and use
Correct.
it in multiple forms, or look at options to use the waste. So a lot of things we are trying to do to create that sustainability.
I have a question. Actually, I only have recently been interviewing very large foundries, so I've not had a chance to actually get any perspective on this. But I just would like your take. How do small foundries cope up with the sustainability issue? Because it's really a large cost for them to invest in equipment and machinery when they need to put that capex into their own plant. So what should the small and medium foundries be?
So I think again, this is a misnomer. So you don't need to do your own capex, first of all.
Right.
There's an option today exists. Today, India has a matured finance industry. So there are a lot of options available. In fact, the other day I was meeting someone, and he was mentioning that his sons are into EPC of solar, and they do a lot of financing. And I know a lot of people who do that. So you don't need to spend your own money. You can have people. There are a lot of people available who would put the capex,
right,
to put that solar park, either rooftop or solar or wind. And they would have an arrangement, they would have a power purchase agreement with you where you would buy that much power generated and at a much more reasonable pricing. In fact, states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, which are big in renewables, the cost of renewable energy is actually lower than what is supplied by the grid. So it's also a benefit, monetary benefit. So you don't need to pay for the capex, yet you can get a supply on the renewable. So that automatically reduces your carbon footprint. So these are available at every site. Today, I think the minimum is probably 0.5 megawatt to 1 megawatt is what people would prefer to do, because having even smaller ones becomes very difficult for them to manage more than anything else. Also, there is a mandate where the electricity board also has a mandate that, okay, we can only do power purchase agreements above a certain size. So again, that varies from state to state, but it's happening already.
Correct.
So especially for I would say the medium to the lower medium size of the foundries, anyone who's making above 300, 350 tons a month, they have the option of doing this. They don't need to invest money.
Right.
They do not need to take on debt.
Right.
Yet they can be part of the green revolution. So it's possible.
Correct. All right. There's one topic I felt like we should also touch on: sand reclamation. You're running a Greensand foundry. That's one of the bigger topics going around. So what are some of the problems related to disposing sand today, and can you completely reclaim it? And what is the future going to be like?
So again, this is the topic I think the industry is wanting the solution for, and I don't think it's possible for an individual foundry, even a large foundry, to set up its own reclamation. It's not easy to do it. Some people are running it. I'm not sure how efficient or how long they can run it by themselves. This is like a community effort. I mean, I've heard about, I've not seen it, but I've heard like Kolhapur, for example, is running like a cluster found reclamation.
Correct.
And I think that is the only way out. We have to reclaim sand. Sand is a big problem. I mean, availability of sand, it's again one of the natural resources. Most of the sand we use are mine sand. We get all of our sand in Chennai from Gudur. Similarly, in Bengal, we get a lot of sand from Allahabad and other various locations. Now, it is a resource, natural resource. The cost of sand is going up. The cost of mining is going up. So if you have to be responsible, if you have to be conscious about your cost, you have to do something about the sand. Sand disposal has always been a problem for a Greensand foundry. So it's a double whammy effect, is
Correct.
what I look at. And this is only possible when people come together and create a common infrastructure. So I know, I mean, because of IF, I know that a lot of clusters are now looking at it. I think it's going to happen. And I think it's a requirement which every foundry needs. If they can recirculate, reclaim, and bring the sand back,
right,
it will give them a constant flow of good sand. It will give them a less headache of disposing sand, and it will keep their cost in control.
Correct.
So it is something which needs to happen. I know we are, as a body, we are talking to various agencies where they also can use some of these sand for road making.
Right.
So, I mean, if you have seen in the AGM, Nitin Gadkari was there,
right,
and he said that, no, we are already in an advanced stage where we can use it. So again, these are all the multiple options we have for us.
What I found really funny was he spoke about the steel industry and how they offered the slag to them free, and then later they started charging for it. So I think the trust is a little lower at this point, but Foundrymen are more trustworthy. Let's just say that.
I hope so.
So anyway, as someone interviewing you, if I don't ask you about IF, right? People are going to auction for my head somewhere in the next meeting. So how was it like being the last president of IF?
Very hectic.
Other than busy, I was going to say.
I think it was a great experience. First of all, I mean, it took a lot of time, no doubt, but I think it was a great experience for me. Simply because I was able to travel to a lot of chapters, meet a lot of people, whether it's a national council meeting or whether it's a town hall in various chapters or various conferences across, and definitely in IFEX, what we had in Calcutta this year. I think just meeting them, understanding what each one of them is doing, or trying to understand each one of them is doing, it is something which you cannot do otherwise. Getting the respect from people, again, that's something which you don't get on a day-to-day level, right?
Correct.
So I think these 2-3 things have been great learners. I mean, huge, I mean, hats off to people who have done this in the past. But I think it's a very, very fulfilling experience is what I would say. Got to learn a lot of things about the foundry, got to learn a lot of things about the Indian foundry. And I think I was fortunate that I was able to contribute here and there a little bit to the fraternity.
Right.
And it's a great fraternity. I mean, I can tell you that I think it's one of the strongest fraternity. In fact, I don't remember who, but someone mentioned in one of the meetings that Foundry fraternity is one of the most close-knit fraternity there is. And I have experienced it firsthand. So I think it's something which is non-replicable. And to lead that organization for a year,
correct,
and it's not possible if the entire base, whether it's the members, whether it's the secretariat, whether it's the office bearers, if they are not supporting you, it's not possible.
Correct.
And I again need to thank all of them, because that's something which they provided full-heartedly, and that's the reason we were able to do a lot of things which we had in mind,
right,
and creating that learning for all of us.
You also mentioned that it wasn't your intention to join actively into IF, right? I think this is something that you spoke about. So
yes, I think I was pulled into it.
Right.
So I was pulled into IF first time during COVID, when I was asked to be the National Honorary Secretary under Mr. Vijay Veriwal's presidency. Unfortunately, COVID happened, and no travel could happen, so we were very restricted to online, and also meeting was very limited that time.
Right.
But now also I had no intention of leading. And I think I would say I was kind of tricked into it. But again, I thank the people who tricked me into it, because as I said, it was a good experience for me. The day I accepted to be the vice president and the president-elect, my perception of the industry was very different. And that 1 year of being the vice president and being part of the national office bearers, and then I need to thank Mr. Chandrasekhar, who was the president, to be actively involved and keeping me actively involved, was a big learning experience to what to expect. And that, I think, that created the kind of the base as to what is to be done during the 1 year of my presidency.
So we have a question from Shankar, who's behind the camera right now. Shankar is very famous on LinkedIn now. He has about 3,000 plus followers on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow.
So he has a big LinkedIn following.
Congratulations.
So he wants to know, why don't you ask the question? Yeah, he wants to know basically how young generation can play an active role in IF.
I think it's very critical, and I firmly believe in it, that without the young generation, no organization can function. Because people who are here today will not last forever. It's the next generation which is coming in. If they don't get involved, both as an association and as an industry, it will get destroyed. So it's very critical. And I'm again happy that we were able to create that Young Entrepreneurs Forum.
Correct.
So again, some of it happened by chance, some of it happened on a selfish note, and I always say that. I've said that in multiple platforms. My son is graduating next year.
Okay.
I would definitely want him to come and join the business.
Right.
Our business is Foundry.
Correct.
So I would prefer that if he joins in, he should have a set of people he can rely on, where he can exchange ideas, talk to them.
Speaking in his wavelength.
You're right.
Right.
And if we don't create that atmosphere, create that platform, no one will come. Correct. I mean, again, this happened by chance. I think I've again said this in multiple platforms. I always give credit to Harshit, who's there in Jamshedpur, that we had gone there for a meeting, and then he, very bold of him to stand up and speak.
I heard this story.
Yes, that I'm here today because my father is one of the organizers, but I would not come because I have no one to talk to. None of the people I talk to come for any of these meetings. And I think that was a big awakening for us. A wake-up call, as you may call it, that we need to have them involved. And I think, again, a lot of credit goes to the entire NOBs and the National Council, that they accepted the idea of creating that Young Entrepreneurs Forum. And I think it's almost more than 140, 150 people from all across. And I'm hoping that it'll cross, I'm aspiring that it'll cross 1,000 by maybe in the next 1 year or so.
Right.
What I really like is that they are talking to each other. They now know each other. So if they're traveling, they can call up that person that, okay, I'm here. And one difference we find in the younger generation is that unlike us or our parents or our, earlier generation, they are very open. They don't care about, okay, I'll not show you my foundry. Come over, we'll talk together. We'll talk to the vendor together.
Right.
You come and see my foundry. In fact, you tell me what more I can do.
Correct.
I will do the same thing to your foundry. So they are ready to learn together. That competitiveness is there, but the competitiveness is there in the right manner. We have seen that in China. China has progressed because people work together, not against each other. Unfortunately, in India, we have always seen people are working against each other. That's why we don't progress as fast as what we should if we work together. And I think that's a big change. We see that. And I think that's something which will definitely percolate into the fraternity, and that will bring in the change in the leadership also, which is required.
Correct.
Always they are the old guard which preserve the what you call the essence, the nature of an association. But you also need fresh blood to come in to build the right structure on top.
Correct.
Until you don't bring them in, it's not going to happen. And I think it's also important because they are very open. They are not stuck in their belief. They don't have, as I call, blinders on.
Correct.
They can see like almost a 370 degree. They would also see 360 if they can.
Correct.
And then they take a call, I think, which is the big thing. And we should take advantage of that. So again, that's something which, if more, and also good part I'll add is, I see a lot of younger generation coming into the foundry. So that's the first step is already happening. It's only that now we need to channelize them into the right manner, give them the right platform. So that's what we are trying to do.
Correct.
And I'm hoping that this will build up, and it's a self-evolving thing. I mean, I don't think there is any kind of a system put in place how they should administer themselves, what they should be doing. And I'm happy that we have some good mentors there in that program who are mentoring the people who are joining, who are supporting when they are joining.
Yeah.
And it's evolving by itself, which is what you want.
Correct.
So I think that's what is happening.
Are you satisfied? Okay, you're satisfied. All right. So on that note, we're going to go to a few industry questions now, right? If you had to scale a small foundry today, let's just say we take you out of RBAC Background and put you back into a smaller foundry. Don't go back to those earlier nightmare days. But what would you do immediately? Like, can you point out where the bottleneck is?
I think one of the things which I see talking to a lot of people, especially in the last 1 year, the biggest bottleneck today, there are two big bottlenecks, and both are actually interrelated. When we say it's bottleneck is grinding, fettling. Now the bottleneck is grinding, fettling only because of non-availability of workers.
Okay.
So the biggest bottleneck we have today is availability of skilled manpower at various stages in the foundry, whether it's a large foundry or a small foundry. If you are a jobbing foundry, you do not control the products that you're manufacturing. You have to be dependent on labor force,
right?
On workers. Now, workers, supervisors, managers are available. Supervisors also are kind of available.
Right.
But the workers are becoming scarce and scarce. They have a lot of opportunities. They're going to various other industries. Their kids do not want to be in the foundry industry. So there is a shortage of workers,
correct,
especially if you want specialized skilled workers. And I think that's the biggest challenge if you set up a foundry, whichever size, you have to think about. Automation is a solution, but low-cost automation is something which is an iterative process. It works for someone, doesn't work for the other one. So you have to think about
case.
Yes, case to case. And
correct,
so you have to be very clear on what you want to automate.
Correct.
Which brings to the question of the money required to automate. Everybody has like limited resources. Someone could have 2 crore, someone could have 200 crore, but there is a limitation to it. What is your limitation? What is the automation you can put in with your resource? What product are you looking at based on, can the product afford that? Can the product cannot afford it? So I think it's a lot of combination.
Yeah.
It all comes down to your focus, what you want to make. And if you know what you want to make, then you would do a backward calculation and see, okay, what you can afford.
Correct.
And what are the challenges in that thing, and how do you circumvent that challenge?
So market study, basically.
Market study, and I think people need to be deep into the product line, whatever they're looking at. I mean, that's the only advice I give. I give 2 advice if someone asks me. One is you have to know the product. And it's not easy to know the product. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes a lot of time, but at least try to know the product.
Correct.
That's one. Second is, if you want customer, you need to have capacity. So customer will not come to you that, okay, set me a new foundry and I will wait 1.5 years for you to set up the foundry and then bring the product.
Yeah. Correct.
He wants it now.
I've asked people the chicken or egg question, and there are about some mixed responses.
I solely believe that if you don't have capacity, your customer will not come.
Right.
Because he wants it now. He is not going to wait a single day.
Correct. Right. So talk about leadership in foundries, because to be able to run such a large organization, you have to have very good executives in places that you basically are trained and are loyal, and also can be led by you, right? So what would you advise people on how to lead properly?
I think I've been lucky. I mean, again, it's a legacy business, so
right,
the business was running even before I came in. And I've been lucky in terms that we have very good people, and touch wood, grace of God. They have been with us. They are good people because they know what the company stands for. They believe in the philosophy of the company, the mission of the company, the vision of the company.
Right.
And they have been working tirelessly towards that. Also, although we have been expanding and adding capacity, which again needs a lot more manpower, I think that original set of manpower, original set of people have kind of created the culture or percolate the culture. Nonetheless, I mean, we have always looked at getting good people. Again, what we can afford, because that's, as I said, I mean, ours is a very, very price sensitive thing, I mean, product line. So there's a limitation we have. So we try not to get poached from the industry. I mean, that's always a conscious decision we have. Yes, we have people who have worked in other similar industry, no doubt. But we don't go actively poach people because that's something which the industry is, there's no one wins there.
Right.
We believe in that.
It always comes back to bite you.
Always comes back to bite you. So we try to do that, and we try to help people.
Correct.
I mean, I think that's one of the big reasons for retaining people is that we understand what they want, what they're looking at, and try to help them. And it's not always about the salary.
Right.
There are a lot more than the salary which is required.
Of course, yeah.
So again, that helps people. I mean, today we cover all our employees with a medical insurance, not just for them, but for the entire family. Now that's something which people understand that, okay, I mean, it's not only I'm not covered, my wife is covered, my kids are covered. And we see that a lot of people have a lot of issues. Medicine is something no one can control again. And I think COVID has been a big teacher for that.
Correct.
That anything can happen anytime.
Correct.
And if you have someone to support, it always helps. So I think that's one of the big reasons. In terms of leadership, what you originally mentioned, I think you've already said that in the beginning. I stay in Chennai, but I have one facility here. I have 4 in Calcutta, and we have again added the 4th one just recently in Calcutta. Now, I can only devote so much time personally.
Right.
I try to go to the foundries every once in a while. I like to be in the foundry, but then again, the foundry has to run day in, day out.
Right.
So definitely we have good people who are running the foundry, right from the foundry manager to the supervisors who are handling all the issues. Very few issues come to me. I am more focused towards more on what the customer wants,
right,
and are we aligning ourselves to that?
Correct.
How is the system evolving, and what can we do to align with the evolution of the product line, evolution of the process? I think that's what I am trying to do more.
Correct.
It's all the other people in the system, and again, grateful to them that they are there and they are doing the work. Everything is running.
Right. Follow-up question. I don't know how you're going to answer this, but what would be your 3 questions to ask during an interview? Maybe you're hiring a very good executive, or maybe a supervisor level, like 3 questions so you could summarize somebody.
I think one of the questions I always ask is, why do you want to leave? And to go deep in. Because I sincerely believe that a person who leaves wherever he's working or she's working for a small reason, the same reason will apply to me.
Right.
So that's a big red flag for me, that how fast are you changing job, and what are the actual reasons of changing job?
Right.
I mean, that's something which I always would want to understand.
So you do a why analysis on a person?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
The second one is their actual experience. I mean, it's nothing against anyone, but we all know that the biodata which come in, most of the biodata are massage biodata today. Mm-hmm. I mean, they probably put in the biodata of 5 different people into one biodata.
Correct.
And everybody has the same one. So it's very important to actually understand what they are doing, not what the company is doing, not what the department is doing. As an individual, what actual work they were doing. I think that's something which is very critical to understand.
Correct.
And I think third thing is where the family is. Because you are only comfortable if your family is with you. If your family stays somewhere else and you're working somewhere else, worker side, that's the way it is. But especially on a supervisor and a company employee manager side, I think that's very critical. You will only stay if you are comfortable.
Correct.
So I think these are the 3 questions I look at always.
Correct. All right. What are some of the latest technologies you're bringing to your foundry?
Wow.
You knew this was coming. that you can share openly.
I think like every other foundry, we are struggling with getting manpower. I mean, especially on the worker side. As I mentioned, grinding and fettling is something which we struggle a lot. I mean, especially if you're making so many different products, you cannot standardize it.
Correct.
I mean, automation works if it's a standard thing, right? Standard process. So I think that's one thing which we are looking at. We are looking at solutions. I mean, still, I think it's again a never-ending search. We do not know. We will be trying and bringing in some equipment, try it out, see how it works. Maybe that applies for certain products. Then we have to look at other things, what we can do. I think that's one part is that. Second, we are looking at digital transformation. And I think when I say digital transformation, I mean it on the ground level. I'm not looking at like a high level transformation because that doesn't work for the foundry. I mean, if I look at, for example, a worker on the floor, I mean, whatever he's writing by hand, the khata or the log sheet, whatever you call it, how do we take that information? Because there's a lot of precious information there. And we all know a lot of that information does not percolate through because someone sitting on top does not want to report the wrongs.
Correct.
Everyone wants to report the right, not the wrong.
Right.
And it's not about one person or two person. That's part of the system. How can we bring that information up so that we actually get the true fact and then solve the true problem rather than solve a problem which has been told as a problem.
Correct.
I think these are the two things we are looking at. Again, technology is ever evolving. What I see today is not valid after a year. So again, that's something which is we have to be adaptive to. Having multi-location, one of the biggest challenge we have is that how do we bring the information, even the basic information, how do we bring it together? So we do a lot of work on ERPs. So we are on SAP B1. So we want to make it more stronger. We are trying to build in a lot of more systems on top of it, bring in a lot more what we are not covering today. So the more information comes in, then you can look at analyzing.
Right.
I mean, again, the more information also brings in a lot of junk.
Correct.
So you have to be wary about what is junk and what is useful. But till you don't bring in everything, you cannot segregate.
Correct.
So the first stage is bring everything together, and then we can start looking at segregation of the data, segregation of information. So I think that's something which is, and I've seen number of foundries now worldwide, lot of them are like homegrown systems. They are not using a brand, they are not using like a specific thing.
Correct.
Because every foundry, and we know that,
right.
I mean, in the foundry industry, we know that every foundry is different.
Completely different, yeah.
So you have to adopt to what works for you, not what works for others may not work for you. Correct. So that's what we are also looking at. Right. To bring in.
Are you using any artificial intelligence in your foundries? As a foundry person, how are you using AI today on a daily basis?
That's $1 million question, to be very frank. That's something which I always ask is how do we use AI? I mean, there's so much of, everybody talks of AI.
Correct.
And then the most we do is go to ChatGPT or Perplexity and do a search and try to understand.
Right.
I think beyond that, we are still as a foundry industry. I'm sure there are some people who are doing, but I don't think we have adopted to it, or we even have an idea as to how to adopt it.
Personally, do you use it for anything? Maybe brainstorming, ideation?
We do for some, but I would say it's not even scratching the surface.
Right.
I mean, it's not even worth mentioning right now what we do.
So there is a lot of scope for maybe a company to go in with
absolutely.
a lot of AI technology
Absolutely.
implementation on foundry.
I agree with you.
The challenge is they would first need to understand or have a foundry background first, and then layer it with the technology and what you can actually do with the tech.
I agree with you. So I think when I look at talking to companies that are providing the solution, I always find two things. One is I don't know what I want.
Correct.
That's the problem number one.
Correct.
Second is the person in front knows the product or the service he's providing, but that product itself is changing in the next 3 months. So by the time he's talking to a foundry owner or a foundry, and by the time the decision happens, the product itself is evolved. So it's a moving target. He's moving, and as a foundry, we don't know what we want.
Correct.
So where do we merge? I think the biggest challenge is we don't know where to merge. The day we realize these are the points we can do, it's like automation, right?
Right.
When the automation was always existing,
right.
Just that we didn't know how to adopt it. Once we knew how to adopt it, we are leaving no stone unturned, right?
Correct.
We're just going all out.
Right.
I think same thing is happening. I think it's just those breakthroughs which are required for the foundry industry. And I think we are all asking for that breakthrough. We don't know what that breakthrough is. We are waiting for that. Someone will guide us, and then we will maybe build on top of it. So that's, I think, we are all waiting for it.
Right.
I mean, data analysis, I think people have started using, which is again the easiest, I would say, the lowest hanging fruit for AI. But other than that, in the foundry floor, I don't see it.
Interesting. All right. That's all the questions that we have. We have a few rapid fire questions now to wind up that hopefully will be a little entertaining. So I don't know if you remember this, but it's a test of his memory.
Which is not very good.
What is the first country you exported to?
Middle East, Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I mean, I hear this. I was not existing that time. I was not there that time. So I hear it's Saudi Arabia.
All right. So good memory. What's the biggest cultural shock you have had in the export market? Because I'm sure you come across different cultures all the time.
I wouldn't call it a shock.
Right.
I think it's a learning every time we talk to a new customer, a potential customer. Because business is done on trust. The way someone trusts in one culture and the way the other culture trusts are different. So sometimes when you talk to a new customer, especially if it's from a new country, or even not even the new country, I would say, even a new region in a country, because every country is big. We just don't realize it. Every country is spread. Even in a small country, there are multiple
like
regions.
India,
like India is a very, very big country.
Right.
So even a small country will have multiple regions in the country, and different regions have different influence, cultural influence. So what is yes in one country may not be perceived as yes in the other country. And that's something which is a learning. We are learning even now. I mean, the other day, one of my customers was here, visiting us, and his point was that, okay, your mail, someone from my organization wrote a mail and said, no, I mean, I understand what he's trying to say, but my colleague in that country takes it on the opposite side. He thinks it's rude.
Right.
Now that's a shock. That was a shock.
Correct.
Because for us, the way we write or communicate, we understand each other.
Yeah,
we assume that someone in the person in front is understanding, but it's a challenge sometimes. So I think that's we see that every day, not as a shock but as a learning.
Correct. Your favorite machine in any of your foundries right now?
Which does not break down often.
Which does can you like pinpoint a finger onto one?
I would not be able to, because I would want no machine to break down. But unfortunately, every machine breaks down sometimes.
So he is not biased. Right. Okay. What's one word global buyers always use to praise good castings? Because you're 55 countries now, so there has to be something in common.
I think it's more than words. If they stick with you and they want to increase business with you, I think that matters. That says it all. The day a customer does not talk about increasing business, or does not talk about making more new products, or talk about new products, I think that's where it's a red flag again. It's a warning bell that no, something is not okay. So I think that's what we always look at. And if he is happy, if he wants to grow, he is happy with the product. We also like honest criticism. In fact, we ask a lot of our customers that you tell us what more we can improve, because we are definitely not the best. We can never be the best, because the day we think we are the best, it's the start of our downfall. So you tell us how we can improve. Tell us whether it's the product, whether it's the surface finish, whether it's the fitment, whether it's the delivery cycle, whether it's the communication, whatever it is. You tell us, we will try to improve. And I think that goes a long way. Our customers understand that we are ready to learn, we are ready to accept our mistakes, but move forward.
Right.
And I think that is more a compliment to me than saying, no, you have the best product, because that means now I cannot move forward anymore.
Correct. Right. Okay, this next one is a trick question, and you can't answer in about 100 lines. Right. What is heavier? Is it a manual cover or the export paperwork required to export it?
No, I need to thank the government actually.
It's gone down.
Now it's the manual cover which is heavy.
Okay. That was a funny one. I mean, anyone exporting would would understand.
Also, because a lot of it is digital now, so no paper.
Yeah, that's nice. All right. So it's good because I think we were moving up on the score of business ranking, right? Ease of
Yes,
doing business.
yes.
Yeah, that's good. Still a long way to go, of
We
course.
still have a long way to go.
But it's at least
but
moving up.
It's. I think we are slowly getting there.
Right.
It's going to take some time, but it's
going to take
slowly
some time.
getting there.
Yeah, right. Another trick question. Right. What would you rather get tomorrow? Right. A new purchase order or a 1 week vacation off?
Very easy question. A new purchase
I don't
order.
know for someone who jumps, 1 day after engineering into a foundry. I don't know anymore.
Today it's 100% new purchase order.
Okay, purchase order.
Yes.
Okay, not a vacation.
Sure. No, vacation can happen later also.
Okay.
Purchase order is required now.
All right. So you sound like a workaholic.
I am.
What are your views on work-life balance?
I would like to have a balance.
No, because you have, like, for example, Infosys and everybody, all the big billionaires today coming and talking about it, and it's in very stark contrast to what people believe. So what are your opinions on it?
I think we are in an industry where we need to be there on the ground. We cannot leave the ground at any point of time. And we are in an industry where the world expects, and the industry can run efficiently if you're running in the right manner, in the right number of days. Yes, we need to have vacation time. We need to have family time. It is important as the work.
Right.
But if I compare myself, this is something which again I get from my customers. For example, France is now at around 33 hours of working in a week.
I think it's 4 days.
It's 33 hours, 4 days, 5 days, depending on how many hours you do work in a week.
Right.
They are struggling. The industry is struggling there.
Correct.
So there is, as you rightly mentioned, the term balance. There is a balance. Problem is sometimes you lose balance, and by the time you understand when you have lost it, you are at a point of no return. So yes, you need to have balance. I would want my people to have that balance in the right manner. Definitely have vacation. So to answer again the other question, I do go on a lot of vacations, but I look at more on short vacations today. I combine my work trip with maybe vacation trip. So that way I can balance out both.
So work and play at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's the only solution. In today's life, today's world, that's the only solution.
Correct.
I have my discipline in terms of I don't look at my phone, I don't look at my WhatsApp for a long time.
Correct.
So that's the kind of a vacation for me.
If not Foundry, what industry?
So I think the industry, I see a lot of my friends who have gone into the IT side. They've done very, very well. If not Foundry, probably it will be something to do with metal, something to do with engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when I graduated, I was very passionate about engineering. I still am. And I would want to stick to it.
But manufacturing for sure.
Manufacturing for sure.
Okay.
I mean, today, if I look at 100% manufacturing.
Right.
I mean, I think sometimes the service does not, I don't understand it as well.
Right.
I mean, so I think manufacturing for sure.
Right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and you have only two options, how much did you enjoy this interview? Would you rate it a 10 of 10 or 11 of 10?
I think 11 of 10.
Thank you so much.
No, I think it's a very comprehensive. I mean, the questions you have are very comprehensive. It makes you think.
You didn't give me a lot of time.
It makes you think for sure.
Right.
I mean, but while talking to you, I think a lot of my 30 years of my life, I think a lot of things came in front to answer a lot of that. So which is good, which is what you want. It should be something which is thought-provoking.
Correct.
It's something which is, talk about, like you asked a lot about future, what you want to be or where would you see yourself. And then these are things which requires thought. I mean, and it doesn't, you lose that thought on a day-to-day working.
Correct.
So I think that way it's very good.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
And I also want to thank that I think this is something which the foundry industry needs, because foundry people, and I don't call them foundry men because I think there's a lot of debate already, and I believe in foundry people.
Right.
Foundry people do not get the due respect and the due coverage what a lot of other industries do.
Right.
And to bring them in front to portray them, the achievements, what they have, or the journey, what they have, it is a very good thing to do. And I think hats off to you that you're doing this, and I think
Thank
you've
you.
done,
Thank you.
you were mentioning almost 53, 54.
Yeah, this would be 54, 53.
Wow.
Right.
So I think it's a great job.
Thank you so much for having the courage to speak up, and he answered every single question. So that's very impressive. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.